So this is the newest member to our family. It's an scx6. I've had it now for about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. There's already some scarring because I already took it for a run last Saturday. But I did a lot of modifications to it. Like we got the aluminum wheels. I don't remember whose brand they are. I found them on eBay. Proline Super Swampers, Proline dual stage foams. The metal plate here, I had to arch it in for clearance because the truck had got dropped down a 1/2 inch. And I'll show you that in a minute when I lift the body up. And then we got this image. And all of this graphics is actually spray painted on. Then I painted the black here. And then we just got Morrison Brothers Racing there. And then it's basically this same image on the other side too. So let's get this thing moved around. I removed the spare tire and the spare tire holder. 3D printed my own little cover on the back here. And as you can see, I got a little design in there. And that is like a transparent blue plastic, so light can shine through it. 3D printed a mount. Let's see if we can get these off without too much of a hassle. Well, anyway, I'll do something about that later. But I just mounted 3D printed a bracket to bolt to this plate. And then this is the actual turning mechanism from the original holder. And then I just screwed it in a part I 3D printed, and it works. Yeah, let's see. So I also have that, I forget the company's name, but it's this quick release. So let's open this up. So now I know a lot of people that I've seen on YouTube with this truck, they all complain about the body not being able to lay back flat like that. But actually, all you have to do is there's some D-shackles right here on the back bumper. What it is the head of the screw catches the bar, and that's what prevents it from going flipping all the way back. So if you're okay with it, just remove those and your body can flip backwards. I did no modifications to my car to be able to make this happen. It's just removing those D-shackles and the screw heads, and you can do this. So up front, all in this area had that faux like motor cover, and all your electronics, your receiver, ESC, all that was tucked underneath there. Well, I relocated all that over here, and all I did was just print a 3D bracket, and I just used these 2 screws here that hold the chassis together and for your skid plate. And then I just mounted my on-off switch and my ESC right there. And it's out of the way. And it actually just kind of brings all your wires in together. And then I just taped the receiver right on top of the transmission. I drove this for about close to 3 hours last Saturday. And you'll see the footage. I have some running footage of this in action. And it's... I had no problems. The only thing that happened to me is my first battery went dead. And speaking of batteries, I never heard from anybody on YouTube like what kind of run times they were getting. So I ran a 3S 5000 milliamp battery, and I got about 2 hours of run time. To drop the suspension, so the rear shock amount I removed, but I still reused that center bracket that they put in there. That's a stock bracket. But I designed and 3D printed my own shock towers, because when you lay your shocks inwards like that, it actually will give your truck more travel on the suspension. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it in the front because when I leaned it back, the tires right here will have issues rubbing on the spring really bad. I mean, you lose like half of your throw. So I had to leave them in the almost straight up and down position. So basically I just designed a drop bracket. And if you look right here, basically I just bolted it straight to the stock shock tower. And then so it allowed my front end to drop a 1/2 inch. Replaced the steering servo. That steering servo is, I think it's a Powerhouse or Power Hobby or something like that. A 70 kilogram steering servo. I have the aluminum servo bracket in there. Also for the shifting servo, I took out the plastic mounting bracket and put a metal one in there. Because when I'd seen people on YouTube having a camera up close shifting, you could just see that whole bracket just flex around. So right now I put my battery up front here for the motor, and it fits good. Basically the motor, speed controller, all the electronics are the original except for the steering servo. Then I took, as you see, I took the slider bars as well as the platforms off from here, because when you see the video and see the kind of stuff we crawl around on, it actually creates more hang-ups and problems for you. I took one of the battery holders off and I bolted it back here. And then if you bought the Jeep version, you would actually get a battery bracket, a battery mount back there with your car. So at this, I put a small, like a 2200 battery in there to run on this BEC that I have in here. I installed an external BEC, so that little small 2200 milliamp battery plugs into this, and that controls everything on the car except for the motor. It powers for the front steering servo, shifting servo, fan on the ESC, all the LEDs that come stock in this car, and they're all still hooked up and they all work for now anyway. And then I put if you can see right here, there's another little small on-off switch, and that actually shuts the power off to the BEC. So that way I'm not constantly having to unplug the battery every time I stop and take a break or what have you, you know. There's that clear plastic Lexan I was talking about that's on the bottom side. I had to cut my bars right here on my frame in order to clear the shock towers. But that's one of the reasons why I did this plate, because it locks everything in over here. So it's not a problem. There's a bar that went from here to here. I had to cut that out because it was rubbing on the tire because I dropped my suspension a 1/2 inch. Let's see. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all my modifications. So I'm going to cut this off here because I don't want this video to be too long. Well, there goes all my paint work. Okay. So I guess bigger doesn't always necessarily mean better. did it. Ooh. Just had to find the right trick to do it.
Put it back to 100?
No, I left it on 50 because I'm kind of wondering if it would extend my battery life. Because when you're crawling, you're barely touching the trigger as it is.
Yeah.
And it actually honestly helps with throttle control too.